Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So a couple of weeks ago, I did an IKEA Kallax hack that you guys seem to have enjoyed quite a bit. So I decided to go ahead and do another one this week because over the next several weeks, I will be doing several DIY projects that will lead up to my daughter's bedroom makeover. Also, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Ritual. I will talk to you more about them later on in the video. So if you want to see the transformation of this shelf, then just keep watching.
The first thing I did was measure the overall width and height of the shelf. The cubby system I am using for this video is actually from Walmart because I didn't have enough time to run out to IKEA, which is an hour away from me, to get another Kallax shelf. This one was already in my daughter's room before we even started. The process would be no different except for the dimensions. After a little bit of math and figuring out my measurements, I went over to my table saw to begin cutting my 1/2-inch plywood for the doors. I then took a 1/4-inch plywood scrap I had and ripped it down to 1.5-inch wide strips. I'll explain in a little bit why. I measured and marked the door in half to help guide me to dry fit all of the strips I ripped down into a chevron pattern. After figuring out the pattern, I secured them with some wood glue. I'm using scraps for all of this, but if I wasn't, you could definitely use popsicle sticks or even larger stir sticks in place of the strips that I created. I used a couple of boards and some weights to help weigh them down for better contact and adhesion. The next day I came back and removed some of the excess hanging off using my multi-tool.
Before we get further into the project, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Ritual. Ritual is a technology brand in the health industry providing supplements from transparently sourced ingredients. They've reinvented the multivitamin because they feel we deserve to know what we put into our bodies and why. Ritual shows you each labeled ingredient, their suppliers, and studies, so what you see is what you get. There is no shady additives, artificial colorants, or excess ingredients. As someone who knows the importance of one's health includes eating a nutritional and balanced diet along with exercise, I also recognize that some nutrients are hard to get enough of from food alone. Essential 18 Women Plus was designed to help fill in those nutrient gaps with 9 key nutrients in just 2 daily capsules. Nutrients including vitamin D3, vitamin K2, folate, and vitamin E, to name a few. I personally like to keep them visible so I can take them in the morning with my breakfast, but their vitamins can be taken with or without food because they feature a delayed release capsule designed to be easy on the stomach. They are also vegan friendly, non-GMO, project verified, gluten-free, and formulated without major allergens. Ritual is a subscription-based company that gives you the flexibility to help turn healthy habits into a ritual. To get 20% off their website, be sure to use the link down in the description and the code Glenda20. Now back to the video.
I scuff sanded the shelf using 220 grit with my orbital sander and primed it with Kiehl's original formula in a can. I sanded it with 320 grit before cleaning it free of the dust I created and applied a second coat. I then moved on to using my router to make all of the edges flush with the plywood underneath all of the strips. I took some natural colored wood filler and filled in any larger gaps. I didn't want it to have a flawless finish, but more of an organic or natural one, so I left the larger gaps alone. Once it was dry, I sanded it with 220 grit using my orbital sander. And to cover the raw edges, I used some edge banding. To paint the shelf, I am using the color Spice Potpourri from Behr in a flat finish. Using a brush and a roller really worked out for me on my last Kallax hack, so I used the same method here. I had to do a total of 3 coats to get full coverage and made sure to sand in between each coat with 320 grit. After sanding the backs of the doors and wiping them clean, I moved on to applying some wood stain conditioner and wiping off the excess. I waited 30 minutes and then applied some mint wax stain in the color Special Walnut. To seal the shelf, I applied 2 coats of water-based satin polyurethane. I moved on to making the holes for my concealed hinges and attached the doors. Besides the paint, this is the only other thing that I bought. I purchased 4 straight legs and attached them with some straight plates I found at my local Home Depot. I stained the legs using the same Special Walnut color. I drilled my holes for my new hardware, but before I placed my new poles, I sealed the doors with some clear wax, and I'm using the one from BB Froche. Theirs dries super quick, which is why I'm a fan of it, but it's recommended to be applied in the direction of the grain as opposed to most waxes where you really have to swirl it into the wood. Now that we're done, let's remember what the shelf used to look like and what it looks like now.
So to be completely 100% honest, I wasn't completely sold on the color combination at the beginning once I put the doors on. And I was like, I don't know if I actually really like the way this is looking. But after I put the hardware on and I also put the legs and then I staged it, it made sense. It just 100% made sense. And it made me realize that it is exactly what I was going for. And it's exactly what I was envisioning, but I think it's gonna go really, really well with all of the other elements that I'm adding into her room. I'm excited to share all of the next DIY projects that I'm gonna be doing over the next several weeks with you guys so that I can lead you up to the final reveal of this bedroom makeover. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future uploads because you're not gonna wanna miss any of them. So thank y'all again for being here and supporting my channel and all of my projects. I love y'all, be kind, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.